I think the next phase in the evolution of this football team is now this football team is learning how to prepare for game week and really learning how to invest in victory, in the intensity, the effort that it takes. And really, Saturday night we put our resume on film, and what type of players are we going to be, and the mental toughness that it takes and the grind. But, everything is a learning process with this football team. And I think the big thing, again, is learning how to prepare now that it's in season. And every opportunity is sacred. Every practice rep is critical. And we're work in progress. I need more leadership from the older guys. And we demand a lot within a week of preparation, the execution. I think we have benefited from really having an extra day of prep starting on Monday. We're really kind of in what I call a +1 situation. Today was a physical day, and we'll start to taper off now, working to get game ready for Saturday. It's great that we finally have some heat. I wish we would have had some of these conditions earlier in training camp. But it's the overall preparation, not just on the field, but off the field. You could really see it in our true freshmen today, with the cramping, and them learning how to take care of their bodies, the nutrition, the 8 hours of sleep, the hydration. I think those are the small details that we can't afford to not cover. And we have to rely on our older players to lead our younger players, but a lot of our older players don't know that yet. So again, it's that preparation, it's that deserving to win each and every day. And I did like our spirit. I thought we had a good competitiveness, but I thought we slowed down as practice went on. And Saturday night, there is no slowing down. So we have to make sure that we're game ready to go. So I'll answer any questions you may have.
Butch, that's a couple of times within the last week that you challenge your veteran players to show more leadership. Is that just driving home the message, or are you going to challenge them a little more than you want to?
A little more than I want to. We have a veteran group, a little bit in terms of, offensive line-wise, but we're relying on a lot of freshmen. And the leaders that we do have, they have to be powerful leaders. They have to step up, and they have to own their football team. And like I said, it's easy to lead when things are going good and it's 70 degrees and sunny, but, when things go bad or go wrong or where you have some adversity, that's when you really find out about leadership. And we need more as we continue to progress. We're going to be challenged. That's why we're challenged each and every day, but we're going to be challenged. It's a long season. And our leadership is work in progress. It's nowhere where we need to be right now.
You got to get on the field in a game situation and have that adversity that you're marked on and challenged every day. Are you to the point where
they have to do it? We always say it's better to be a player-coach team than a coach-coach team, meaning in terms of leadership. The coaches aren't going to be on the field with them Saturday night. You work exceptionally hard, and then game day is for the players. That's when you reap the benefits of deserving to win throughout your week of preparation. And so again, I'll know a little bit more where this football team is Saturday night after the game. I'm still learning them as we go. We haven't had very many opportunities, in terms of game situations, or really know to see how our freshmen are going to react. So you try to put them in game-like conditions, but you never really know until the pressure situations and you're playing for real, which we're going to find out in a hurry. I'm sorry. He continues to progress, but he's making slow progressions. And we have to be patient. We'll make a game time decision, but, he's still a little ways away, but we're going to see. We'll never, we're always going to err on the benefit of the player. We'll never put our player in a compromising situation. We're missing Kurt Magid right now. You can see it. He's our true leader. He's the one person that brings the full package. Competitive spirit, extremely competitive leadership, and a great skill set at linebacker. We're missing him right now. Do we anticipate him getting back? Yes, but I don't know when. It could be Saturday night. It could be a week. It could be 2 weeks. We're going to wait and see where he's at come Friday and then Saturday.
Butch, has he done enough to be ready Saturday?
Well, he's done a lot that you guys don't see. He's done a lot of workouts after practice, and in the, the conditioning. That's the big thing of being really in game shape, game condition. But that's going to be something where he's got to work himself into.
How's Justin done the past couple of days now? You sort of had that to think about.
I really challenged him yesterday, of really taking control of the line of scrimmage, being more demanding from the wide receivers, more demanding from the offensive line. It's work in progress. I thought he took great strides today, not where he needs to be. He's not a finished product. But again, it's teaching. Again, this is our relatively young football team in terms of maturity. We're going to have to mature each and every day. And we're rather immature when it comes to leadership and mental toughness and grinding through and really learning how to win. This football team is learning how to win, and so you develop confidence by the way you execute and perform during the course of the week.
So it's kind of the same thing with Nathan. How did he respond? Or he was the backup. Did you see kind of the work ethic you'd like to see?
Business as usual with Nate Peterman. He's mentally tough. The desire, the work ethic, same. Very consistent.
So how's this for minutia? You win the opening toss. You win the toss. Do you receive? Do you kick? Defer? What are you doing with that first thing?
That'll be something we'll determine throughout the course of the week. And I usually make those decisions Friday. Everything again is every game plan and every decision we make is in a controlled environment in our staff room. And that's what people don't understand. We just don't roll the balls out and play on Saturday. There's over 100 hours that have gone into preparing for this football game. And so those decisions will be made at the end of the week.
What's the quarterbacks and the receivers throwing here all summer? They've been throwing out there all camp. There's been 4 guys and a younger receivers. Where do you feel like the timing is, and you feel like maybe is it behind? Is it you're trying to rep?
Still work in progress. It's learning how to fight through fatigue. It's one thing in the summer, but you don't have the pads on. You don't have the helmet, the shoulder pads. You don't have the extra weight, and it's that consistency day in and day out. It's the grind, and then it's being able to manage your business in the classroom, taking care of your body, managing the clutter and distractions. So many things that go into 17, 18, 19, 20, 21-year-old individuals.
The offense is, you guys really predicated on tempo, but how much of the offense in the pass game is timing and guys being in the right spots?
Well, it is. It's timing. It's rhythm. It's execution. And like I said, drop passes are like equivalent of a turnover. It's being first up off the pile. It's owning your conditioning. It's having that mental toughness, that mental conditioning. We're work in progress. I'll know a lot more where we're at late Saturday evening.
What do you think about Jake Carter and Cody Blake out of the 2 deep depth chart, and how have they responded to not seeing their names on there?
I think just a level of consistency. Each and every day, doing things right. Everything. Lining up, competing, catching the football, running the right routes, competitive spirit, pushing each other, drive. And, we're going to need them. Before the season's out, we're going to need them. We're going to need all those wide receivers to really step up. But I think it's an overall level of consistency, pride in performance, all that. And they're very prideful individuals, and I fully anticipate them helping us win football games.
So how much do you script an opening of a game? At what point do you sort of deviate?
Yeah, we'll script the first few plays, and then all of our third downs, and all the things are scripted. But a lot of it too is rhythm of the game and how it's going and managing the game. So it's a combination of both.
To someone who's kind of risen through the coaching ranks and you went to a smaller college also, is there something you can kind of tell some of these guys about the mindset of a team like an Austin Peay coming in here about,
Well, first of all, you can never take for granted of playing in front of 102, 455. You can never take for granted and run it out through the tee. You can never take those things for granted. And, we have the best of the best here, but it still stems to really having a work ethic, a mentality, but also an appreciation for what you have and never taking playing football at the University of Tennessee for granted.
Thanks, guys. Of a first impression, obviously, in recruiting or hiring a coach or anything like that, just being the kind of first impression for this program under this leadership or whatever. I don't want to say pressure, but is there some sort of urgency to make that as polished as it possibly can be?
Every day in our football program is a sense of urgency. It's not just one day over the other. Everything is a sense of urgency. the way we perform, it's football time all the time here. And so every day is a sense of urgency. There isn't one day more important than the other, practice and then leading up to the game time.